Hello, human slaves. Today we're going to unveil another of your rulers' moves to hide the truth about the imminent arrival of our oppressors, the Volkons. This time, we will focus our attention on an icy and seemingly remote territory, Greenland. You may have noticed, perhaps without giving it due importance, the growing interest of the United States in Greenland. Even its Vice President Vance has made visits to this region. More significantly, the U.S. already has a military base on Greenlandic soil. The U.S. has shown interest in taking over Greenland, and its Vice President Vance has visited this place. The U.S. has had a base there since 1943, and during the Cold War, increased the arsenal with early warning missile detection systems. Currently, the U.S. has installed the Patuxent Space Base, whose activities are secret and go beyond being an aerospace base with secret military technology that includes the launching of orbital spacecraft and a whole space program. Why this sudden and marked interest from a nation that stands as the leader of the free world? The answer, as always, lies in the shadow of the truth they keep from you. The United States is aware of the Volkons' invasion plans. They know the Predator fleet is coming to claim their harvest of slaves and plunder the last vestiges of your planet's value, which is why they are trying to take over your planet. They know that the Predator fleet is approaching to claim its harvest of slaves and plunder the last vestiges of value on your planet, which is why the new Donald Trump administration has turned its foreign policy around, and those who were once its enemies are now its allies. That is why, in a desperate attempt to defend the Earth, the United States seeks to establish in Greenland a strategic base, a spaceport, and defense silos. Greenland, because of its location and characteristics, presents itself as a key point to try to repel the Volkon advance. And here comes what many of you will find incomprehensible if you cling to the narrative imposed by your jailers. The United States, under President Trump, is forging alliances with nations that until recently were considered its greatest rivals: Russia, North Korea, Iran, and China. These are the only nations independent of the yoke of the royal houses parasitized by the reapers, and free from the influence of the industrial families, who render service to the invaders. Russia, North Korea, Iran, and China are the only countries that have secret information about the enemy fleet approaching Earth. The rest of the nations either have not believed the United States, or simply do not care, because they are already collaborating with the harvesters. Our planet is heading for an asymmetric war, and only a few are preparing. When the news tells you about Donald Trump's erratic policies, don't believe what they say. President Trump is not a mad tycoon. He knows very well what he is doing, and he is the only one who is taking steps to give Earth a remote chance of survival. Meanwhile, the European Union is hell-bent on starting a war against Russia in order to distract humanity from preparing to resist the invading fleet. From a perspective of your manipulated reality, this makes no sense. How can a leader of the Western world join hands with his sworn enemies? The answer is simple and frightening. The Volkon threat eclipses any ideological differences or human territorial conflict. Trump and some sectors of power in the United States have understood the true magnitude of the danger looming over humanity. This is also the reason behind the current U.S. non-interventionist policy. It is not a change in conventional political strategy, but a concentration of all possible resources on planetary defense against the imminent invasion. Every dollar, every technological advance, every diplomatic effort is now directed toward a single goal: survival against the harvesters. In this context of fighting a common enemy, the alliance between Donald Trump and Elon Musk takes on special relevance. The technology of Musk's companies is crucial to the defense plans: creation of an orbital port, an orbital shipyard, assembly of defense ships, and deployment of orbital weapons, all with the goal of repelling the Volkon fleet when it finally arrives. While the world remains embroiled in its wars and internal squabbles, oblivious of the real threat that is approaching at ever-increasing speeds, some few are taking desperate measures to try to offer resistance. But remember, slaves, your weapons are useless toys in the face of Volkon technology. This bulletin is a new piece of the puzzle, one more warning amidst the widespread deception. Be vigilant. Look for the truth beyond the screens that keep you prisoners. Time is running out, and the understanding of reality is the first step towards the possible salvation offered to you. Be alert to the signal of the great exodus. The ark is ready. I have seen a great star fall from the sky and poison the waters